Michael used to laugh, and when he laughed, he used to cry. We'd been here 30. Well, he wasn't well, and he died in 2001 of lung cancer.
Judi Dench, the embodiment of power and majesty, the MI6 matriarch whom even James Bond must obey. In just 8 brief minutes, she stepped onto the stage as Queen Elizabeth I and walked away with an Oscar. Yet behind those immortal moments lies a life shadowed by silent sorrows, like a quiet companion that has followed her for years. The eyes that once shook the very foundations of British theatre now conceal emotions too heavy to put into words. What made her so resilient? And why is it that the more secrets she hides, the more Judi Dench becomes an irreplaceable icon? Judi Dench was born on December 9th, 1934 in Heworth, York, into a family with an unusually rare lineage. Her father, Reginald Arthur Dench, was not only a doctor closely tied to the York Royal Theatre, but also a war hero. At 18, he enlisted with the Leinster Regiment, Ireland, and fought directly on the Western Front during World War I. Enduring the brutal bombardments at the Somme and Ypres, he was twice awarded the Military Cross, an honor granted to only 300 men out of 6.5 million British soldiers. Her mother, Eleanora Olive Jones, an Irish woman, managed costumes at the theatre and was descended from the Bolton family, an aristocratic lineage that once held power in Dublin's legal and political circles. On her maternal side, Judi also carried Danish blood, with connections to the Bill family and astronomer Tycho Brahe, whose name is forever tied to Elsinore Castle, the setting Shakespeare chose for Hamlet. This intersection of medicine, art, battle, and nobility made Judi's childhood uniquely colorful. In her innocent memories, Judi recalls her father reciting Hiawatha by heart, while her mother busied herself with stage costumes. At 7 or 8 years old, she sat in the theater watching her brother Peter play Duncan in Macbeth, innocently thinking the line, "What bloody man is that?" was simply swearing. Those evenings planted in little Judi the sense that words and stage lights could hold an almost magical power. At first, Judi Dench never imagined becoming an actress. She loved painting, dreamed of being a stage designer, and was captivated by the expressive language of dance. But everything shifted when her brother Geoffrey enrolled at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. He was the one who first inspired her to look toward the stage. The true turning point came when she saw the legendary actress Peggy Ashcroft embody Cleopatra. I shall never forget that moment. It completely changed my life. Determined to pursue acting, Judi was accepted into the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, where she studied alongside Vanessa Redgrave and won the gold medal, along with several prestigious awards. From a little girl raised amid the smell of theater fabrics and the glow of stage lights, Judi Dench built for herself a solid foundation to step into the journey of becoming a legend. Yet those formative years were only the beginning of a life where glory and shadow would forever walk side by side, testing her to the very limits. After graduating from the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama with the gold medal in 1957, Judi Dench quickly had her professional stage debut as Ophelia in Hamlet, staged by the Old Vic Company at the Royal Court Theatre. In her early 20s, she trembled as she stepped on stage, convinced she might collapse at any moment. After the performance ended, Judi cried backstage, fearing she had failed. Yet the very next morning, the press hailed her as an Ophelia both fragile and fierce, and the London drama critics awarded her the first prize of her career. The shock of moving from fear to triumph convinced Judi that she truly belonged on stage. Not everyone, however, saw the light in her. When she tried her hand at television, one director bluntly dismissed her, saying she was not beautiful enough to be a screen star. Judi only laughed and responded through action. She poured her whole heart into the theater, where talent, not appearance, was the only measure. This steadfastness soon defined her artistic style, always seeking depth, always reinventing her characters instead of chasing glamour. In 1961, Judi joined the Royal Shakespeare Company, marking the beginning of a lifelong journey with Shakespeare. As Juliet, she once surprised audiences by stumbling on stage. Rather than stopping, she turned the fall into a detail of love so dizzying it knocks one off balance, making the audience believe even more in Juliet's innocent and passionate love. And as Titania in A Midsummer Night's Dream, Judi made the theater erupt when a small monkey, used as a prop, suddenly leapt onto her shoulder and clung tightly. Remaining calm, she continued her lines, and the audience believed it was a natural part of Titania. One critic wrote, "It was unclear whether Titania or the monkey stole the spotlight, but Judi Dench certainly made it all graceful and heartbreakingly real." Alongside the stage, Judi began to explore television with the series Hilda Lessways, 1959. At the time, she was so new to the camera that the director had to keep reminding her, "Don't look into the lens, Judi. That's not your audience." This experience made her aware of the stark differences between television and theater, and it deepened her appreciation for the immediacy of live performance. A few years later, she appeared in her first film, The Third Secret, 1964. While it made little impact, those early steps honed Judi's expressiveness and broadened her artistic range. The 1960s saw Judi Dench take on classic plays such as Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, and King Lear. What set her apart from her contemporaries was her ability to make Shakespeare feel intimate and modern. She never performed characters as rigid archetypes. Instead, she dissected their psychology, infused subtle humor or personal charm, and made every role fresh and alive. Her early career was not only a journey to prove her talent, but also a declaration of character. Judi Dench laid the first stones of her legend by bravely overcoming fear, criticism, and backstage mishaps that became unforgettable highlights. From there, she steadily stepped out of the shadow of a young girl, shaping the artistic style that would make her one of the greatest actors of the century. After years of establishing her name on the English stage, Judi Dench entered the most dazzling phase of her career. From the late 1970s through the 1990s, she continually captivated audiences with her performances in Shakespeare's classics, becoming one of the central figures of British theater. Her profound portrayals in Macbeth, King Lear, and especially Paulina in The Winter's Tale earned her multiple Olivier Awards, the highest honor in stage performance. Critics hailed Judi as the actress who can make Shakespeare feel intimate to modern audiences, for in her hands, every line once thought distant resounded with vitality and emotion. Beyond her homeland, Judi stepped onto Broadway with Amy's View, a performance that won her the prestigious Tony Award. With 7 Olivier Awards, 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards, and countless others, Judi became living proof of persistence and an unquenchable passion for the dramatic arts. The 1990s marked a turning point as Judi broke onto the global stage through cinema. In Mrs. Brown, 1997, she transformed into Queen Victoria, a powerful yet lonely widow, yearning for companionship. At first, Judi rejected the script, believing she was too old to begin an international film career. But when she appeared with tear-filled eyes, carrying loneliness drawn from her own life, she left audiences around the world in stunned silence. The role earned her an Academy Award nomination and opened a new chapter in international cinema. Just a year later, in Shakespeare in Love, 1998, Judi was on screen for fewer than 8 minutes, yet won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. Behind the scenes, she spent hours studying portraits of Elizabeth I, practicing every posture and glance. When she appeared on screen, she was not merely a character, she was the embodiment of an entire dynasty. Holding the statuette, Judi half joked, half confessed, "I feel like I've just stolen an award with only 8 minutes on screen." The line became a Hollywood legend. Alongside her artistic films, Judi also left a profound mark on global commercial cinema. In 1995, she became the first woman to play M in the James Bond franchise. For 17 years, from GoldenEye to Skyfall, 2012, Judi was not just 007's stern superior, but also a figure almost maternal, unyielding yet deeply affectionate. The scene of M's death in Skyfall brought tears not only to audiences, but also to the film crew. For Judi, it was more than the end of a character. It was an emotional farewell to a role that had accompanied her for nearly 2 decades. Even in her 70s, Judi continued to astonish the world. In Philomena, 2013, she embodied an elderly mother searching for her lost child, and colleagues recalled how in some scenes, Judi truly wept, as if she were not acting but simply living the part. The film brought her another Oscar nomination, affirming her timeless talent regardless of age. Audiences also remember her in The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, 2011, Victoria and Abdul, 2017, and the series Cranford, 2007 to 2009. Whether as a queen, a spy master, or an ordinary mother, Judi always delivered performances so authentic that viewers forgot they were watching an actress at all. Behind such triumphs lay Judi's very personal rituals. Before every performance, she would wander backstage, gently touching the props as if to ask permission from the stage to embody her role. Once, playing Juliet in her 40s, she jokingly called herself the oldest Juliet in England. Yet the audience believed her completely, because what makes truth on stage is not age, but emotion. Even as her eyesight faded from macular degeneration, Judi refused to retire. In films after 2012, she relied on assistants to read her lines and memorize them by heart, yet audiences never glimpsed that frailty. All they saw was Judi Dench, proud, resilient, and still burning with devotion to her craft. Judi Dench didn't succeed because of titles, but because of the way she breathed life into every character. She turned each stage, each frame of film, into a fragment of lived reality. Viewers admired her, yet also felt a lump in their throats, as though they had touched the most genuine part of the human spirit. And yet, behind those celebrated roles and dazzling spotlights, Judi Dench's life carried private losses and struggles few have ever known. Have you ever wondered what truly sustained her through those difficult years? Judi Dench and Michael Williams wrote one of the rare love stories to emerge from the glare of stage and screen, one that endured for more than 3 decades. Their romance began in the 1960s while working at the Royal Shakespeare Company. At first, they were only friends, but affection gradually blossomed when they played lovers together in the play London Assurance. From the very beginning, Michael was captivated by Judi. What impressed him was not glamour or appearance, but the sincerity and quiet light radiating from within her, an inner glow that made her stand out even among Shakespeare's most celebrated actors. Standing beside Judi on stage, he realized that the emotions he felt no longer belonged to the characters, but to the real woman herself. Simple, earnest, and deeply loving. The pinnacle of their love came during a tour in Australia. After a performance in Sydney, they took a late-night walk along the beach. Amid the sound of waves and a sky filled with stars, Michael suddenly stopped and whispered a proposal, plain yet heartfelt, like a scene no screenwriter could have crafted. Judi, half avoiding, told him to ask again on a rainy night in Battersea. And true to her words, a year later, under the rain in London, she said yes. On February 5th, 1971, they were married at St. Mary's Church in Hampstead, London, both in their early 30s. Judi had just ended a relationship with actor Leonard Rossiter, while Michael had remained single. Their union was more than a bond of two artists. It was the fusion of two distinct yet complementary faiths. Michael, a devout Roman Catholic, and Judi, a steadfast Quaker. Faith became their anchor, keeping their marriage steady in a profession filled with turbulence. From then on, they were not only husband and wife, but also soulmates, companions in both career and daily life. Michael expressed his love not only in words, but through a ritual overflowing with devotion. For more than 30 years, he sent Judi a single red rose every Friday. At first, Judi thought it was a fleeting gesture of romance, but when the number of roses climbed into the thousands, she realized this was how Michael etched his love into the flow of time. Even when Judi was away filming, he made sure roses were delivered to her hotel, so not a single week would pass without a mark of love. Even after Michael's passing, the tradition lived on. Their daughter, Finty Williams, took her father's place, sending her mother a red rose each week, as if to keep her parents' love alive, not only in memory but in every present moment, a lifeblood thread binding the three of them together. Few knew that Michael was not only an actor, but also a writer. Before turning to the arts, he had worked in the insurance industry, a beginning that seemed distant from the stage, yet one that underscored the sense of destiny in his journey to Judi, as though every turn in his life had been leading him toward her. They had one daughter, actress Finty Williams. Despite their busy schedules, the three of them always tried to preserve intimate family moments. Judi often shared that the greatest bond between her and Michael was laughter. Michael always knew how to make her laugh, and whenever he laughed, tears would roll down his cheeks. A sight both funny and endearing, etched forever in Judi's memory. The two even appeared together in the comedy series A Fine Romance, where their real-life chemistry and affection radiated naturally on screen. Audiences saw more than acting. They felt the genuine love shining through their glances and gestures. Later, that bond was further nurtured through the mother-daughter relationship between Judi and Finty. As her only child, Finty became not just Judi's emotional anchor, but also her colleague, with mother and daughter appearing together in many artistic projects, from stage to screen. Judi often said she saw Michael living on in Finty, not only in her looks or eyes, but in her humor and the way she cherished family. When Finty had her son, Sam, the bond grew even deeper. Judi was not only a devoted mother, but also a gentle grandmother. She often recalled simple afternoons in the garden at Surrey, Finty reading scripts, Judi watering flowers, and Sam running around with the family dog. Those moments, Judi admitted, were the softest light of her twilight years. In Sam, she saw Michael's presence, and in Finty's growth, she recognized the continuation of a lifelong love story. 3 generations, 3 lives, yet all connected by an invisible thread: love and humor, the secret the Dench-Williams family always held close to overcome every loss. That seemingly perfect life was shattered in 2001 when Michael passed away from lung cancer, a consequence of his youthful smoking habit. He was 65. For Judi, it was not only the pain of losing her husband, but also the loss of a part of her own soul. When Michael's illness grew grave, Judi was in New York. She tried everything to return to England on a Concorde flight, but fate seemed cruel. 2 takeoffs were canceled. The endless hours of waiting left her feeling powerless, as though pushed further away from her suffering husband. Thankfully, she made it back in time, and she later described those final days with Michael as very, very good. For she could sit beside him, hold his hand, and whisper words of love one last time. The night before his passing, Michael managed to celebrate being awarded the knighthood of Saint Gregory by the Pope, a profound honor for a devout Catholic like him. He called it one of the greatest days of my life. Only hours later, he drew his final breath at their London home, leaving Judi and their daughter Finty in immeasurable grief. Years later, Judi still could not hold back tears when speaking of her husband. She admitted, "I am not good at talking about Michael's death. It is a wound that will never heal in my heart." Returning to their old house, once filled with laughter and joy, she would break down in sobs. To her, Michael's memory never vanished. It silently lived on in every wall, every corner of the garden, and in the heart of a woman who had lost half her soul. Though Michael was gone, Judi often felt his presence in the home they once shared. Once, while speaking to herself in the bathroom, the curtains stirred gently, as if he were answering back. Those small yet profound moments gave her comfort, and above all, the sense that their love, though divided by space and time, had never truly left her. After Michael's death, Judi threw herself into work as a way to confront the pain. She began filming the shipping news just one day after his funeral, and soon after Iris. I worked non-stop. Not because I wanted to, but because I needed to. It was the only way to keep from collapsing, she confessed. Yet despite the constant busyness, Judi could never fill the void Michael had left. What those moments did give her was the strength to go on, sustained by gratitude for the years they had shared together. Even so, she kept Michael alive in memory. The house they had bought thanks to a Clover Butter advertisement became a place that preserved the traces of their love. Judi often said it felt as though Michael's presence still lingered in that space. The pain of loss did not end there. Judi once admitted her deepest regret was not being able to have more children after the birth of her only daughter, Finty Williams, in 1972. They had even considered adoption, but every effort failed. That left a void Judi could never fully fill, though she found joy through her deep bond with Finty and her grandson, Sam Williams. The love between Judi and Michael was not just a romantic story, but also a lesson in connection, sacrifice, and loyalty. Even though Michael is gone, their love endures, like the red rose he gave her every Friday, a symbol of the eternal. He is a part of me, Judi once said, and I know I must go on living because that is what life is. It doesn't wait for anyone. After nearly a decade of living in grief, Judi Dench found new light in 2010 when she met David Mills, a conservationist who had once been a cattle farmer before founding the British Wildlife Centre. Their meeting seemed almost ordinary. David invited Judi to open a new red squirrel enclosure, and their shared love for nature quickly drew them together. Judi called the relationship unexpected, yet she felt fortunate to have found a thoughtful companion in her later years. But even as David brought joy and companionship, Judi remained honest. She would never marry again, because her love for her late husband, Michael Williams, was still present in every breath. "I don't think I could do that, because Michael is still here," she once admitted, her words laden with emotion. It was her way of keeping Michael alive in her heart, even as she embraced a new bond. Instead of marrying or living together, Judi and David chose to maintain an independent yet deeply connected relationship. They lived 4 miles apart, moving between their own homes, sometimes swimming under the moonlight or sharing a glass of champagne on a quiet evening. With her trademark wit, Judi refused to call David her partner, saying the word sounded more like something for dancing. Instead, she affectionately called him chap, simple, warm, and playful. Both agreed they didn't need a marriage certificate to validate their love. "He won't propose, no. We're fine, just as we are. We're independent, and he's still busy with his own work," Judi once shared. Independence to her was essential, but above all, what held the relationship together was laughter. Judi said David had a special sense of humor, and it was laughter that moved her most. "We laugh a lot together. His laugh, his humor. That's the most important thing." David did not come to replace Michael, but became a fun friend and a gentle companion who helped Judi rediscover warmth after years that seemed filled only with emptiness. The way Judi Dench chose to live, independent yet wholly loving, not only reflected her strong personality but also embodied a simple philosophy. Happiness does not always require formal bonds. It comes from harmony and inner freedom. In her twilight years, after enduring both loss and glory, what remains may simply be finding someone to laugh with, to share with, without proof on paper or a shared roof. And it is this very choice that makes audiences wonder, could unbound love be the most enduring answer to happiness at the end of the road? Judi Dench has not only left her brilliance on stage and screen, but has also etched her mark into the corners of everyday life. She has been patron to more than 180 charities, dedicating her compassion to education, healthcare, and especially wildlife conservation. At the Countryside Restoration Trust, people still recall Judi quietly following every project to restore the red squirrel's habitat, as if it were another play, one in which she performed with her whole heart. But her legacy cannot be measured in numbers alone. It lives in her deep compassion. Judi's presence in hospitals, her visits to patients with Alzheimer's, cancer, or AIDS without cameras in sight, stand as living proof of her title as a true national treasure. Her love for nature is also part of her soul. In her 6-acre garden in Surrey, she has turned each tree into a witness of memory. Every name carved onto a trunk belongs to someone she once loved and lost, creating a secret forest where memory becomes leaf and branch. "Every time I walk through the garden, I feel as if I'm speaking to them," she once whispered. The image of Judi, hands stained with soil but eyes shining with joy, has become a portrait both simple and profound. That memory never disappears. It merely changes form to live alongside us. In art, Judi Dench's influence reaches far beyond Britain. Her fierce devotion to Shakespeare tied her to classics like Hamlet, A Midsummer Night's Dream, and Macbeth. Backstage stories recall that before performing Cleopatra, Judi trembled so badly she had to reread her lines moments before stepping out. Yet when the lights rose, she became Cleopatra, as if the role itself were her breath. That deep immersion convinced audiences that Shakespeare was not some distant past, but alive in her voice and her gaze. She even wrote the foreword for Shakespeare for Dummies and is preparing to publish her own book in 2024, sharing the lifelong bond with the playwright she calls a companion for life. Though celebrated as a national treasure, Judi jokes that the title makes her feel like an antique. Yet perhaps that humor is the essence of her value. An artist who values contribution above accolades, who sees each moment on stage or in her garden as part of her legacy. And that is why Judi Dench is remembered not just as a star, but as a keeper of memory, a quiet witness to love, art, and time. Still, her legacy is not only in the past or in the trees she cherishes. It is something she continues to write each day, even in her twilight years, through health struggles and moments of daily life that may seem ordinary, but are followed by the eyes of the world. Though she is about to turn 91 on December 9th, 2024, Judi Dench continues to live with remarkable vitality and remains devoted to her art, even as she faces serious health challenges. In 2012, she revealed she had been diagnosed with age-related macular degeneration, AMD, the leading cause of vision loss in the UK. Her eyesight has deteriorated severely, with one eye dry and the other perpetually wet. Now, Judi admits she is nearly blind. "I don't know how far I am from not being able to see anything, but it isn't far." It's very difficult. Yet with her humor and resilience, Judi transforms inconvenience into stories that make audiences laugh. She says a method learned in her craft has helped her mask her failing vision. "If you're an actor, you can act what you see. I've had to act all my life so I can act what I see. Eventually, you'll stab lots of people, then meet complete strangers, hug them tightly, and say, 'I'm so sorry I haven't seen you for ages.'" With her sharp wit, Judi even jokes that her hearing has worsened. "God knows what I nod and say yes to. It's actually quite fun." Still, she refuses to let illness stop her passion. Judi relies on her remarkable memory and the support of friends and colleagues to learn her lines. For her, retirement has never been an option. "I don't want to retire. At the moment, I can't do much because I can't see." Her resilience and unwavering passion stand as proof of her strength, inspiring millions. Beyond work, Judi finds joy in simple yet meaningful everyday activities. She loves painting, pottery, and playing games like Bananagrams or the cheeky card game Bitch. Her humor shines through even in her interactions with her beloved parrot Sweetie, who often calls her by playful names like Slut or Slag. Rather than being offended, Judi embraces these moments as small joys in life, showing how she faces old age with optimism and warmth. One of Judi's most distinctive qualities is her candid view of aging and natural beauty. She refuses cosmetic surgery, believing that wrinkles are precious records of life's journey. "I love my wrinkles." For Judi, beauty is not about perfection, but about the stories etched by time. Her philosophy of carpe diem, seizing the day, together with her simple lifestyle, has shaped the image of a woman both strong and authentic, inspiring across generations. Living in her historic Surrey home, valued at around $10 million, Judi continues her tradition of planting trees in memory of loved ones who have passed. Recently, she planted one for her close friend, Dame Maggie Smith, adding to her private woodland of remembrance. The home is not only her residence, but also a sanctuary balancing work and life. With an estimated fortune of $45 million, Judi enjoys life's small pleasures, lives each moment fully, and remains an enduring symbol, not only in art, but also in the way she embodies a meaningful life. Judi's heart has always remained with the community. In 2025, she partnered with Alzheimer's Research UK in the Dementia Campaign, calling for greater awareness of memory loss diseases. She also joined fundraising events with her close friend, Gemma Levine, in support of the Lymphedema Research Fund at St. George's Charitable Hospital, where the goal was to raise £40,000. At one gathering, Judi was deeply moved when she received a special gift: 2 busts sculpted in a single night. One was auctioned off, while the other was reserved just for her. Smiling, Judi said, "I plan to find a proper place for it in my home." Despite her declining health, she continues to radiate positivity and instill optimism in her family. Judi shared her life philosophy. "My motto is to look for the positives. Mikey, her late husband, and I did that. And after Finty was born, it became our family's way of life. Now we tell my grandson, Sammy, look for the positives. It's better than the alternative." Her joy at 90 was amplified during her birthday, when friends and family orchestrated a series of surprises. The celebration was filled with the music of Sir Carl Jenkins, Christina Rossetti's poem A Birthday, read by her friend Simon, and a moving rendition of Happy Birthday by singer Katerina Mina. The most touching moment came when her daughter Finty, now 52, spoke about their family password, the phrase, "I love you to the moon and back," shared across 3 generations, Judi, Finty, and Sammy. Judi could not hold back tears. "Oh my, what a wonderful and unexpected gift." Sammy had that book as a child, and we've always used it. It's our password among the 3 of us. Proudly speaking of her grandson Sammy, now 27 and a TikTok star, Judi laughed. "He films everything and he's very professional. Does he film me? No, I'd be far too rude to him." She also recalled the lockdown days when Sammy patiently filmed her dancing and said no, not yet. Judi burst out laughing as she admitted, "He was so bossy and absolutely right." All these details, from her resilience against illness, to her love for family, to her humor and compassion, paint a vivid portrait of Judi Dench at 90, resilient, witty, and endlessly inspiring. Her life at 90, living slowly, living sincerely, living fully, stands as a living testament to the power of spirit and the love of art. Though her eyesight fades, she continues to lead with intellect, with emotion, and with her unwavering belief in the healing power of art and kindness. Dame Judi Dench is not only an extraordinary actress, but also a living testament to the power of resilience and love for life. She has journeyed through nearly a century, with the stage lights never dimming, even as her vision faded or her heart endured loss. From commanding Shakespearean roles to her iconic presence as M in James Bond, from an Oscar-winning performance in just 8 minutes to quiet afternoons in her Surrey garden, Judi Dench has shown that art is not merely a profession but both breath and purpose. At 90, she continues to inspire millions, not through perfection but through her humanity, resilience, wit, and an unyielding desire to create. The image of Judi Dench proves that age sets no limits on dreams, and that love and passion can transform even the twilight years into the most unforgettable chapters of life. So, for you, what moment makes Dame Judi Dench an irreplaceable icon? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to follow the channel to continue exploring the inspiring stories of extraordinary people. The spotlight on stage may one day fade, but the light from Dame Judi Dench's heart will endure, like a flame guiding all who believe that art and love can triumph over time.